Yo, what is up guys? It is Detox and welcome back to another video. Now today's video is interesting because this takes place my freshman year of college. Now, keep in mind I was only going to this school because my parents really wanted me to go. And I do really appreciate them for sending me there. I made a lot of memories, but sooner down the line, I figured out that school wasn't for me. But my freshman year, I was actually trying with my school and actually trying to do well. And I did okay. I think I had like a 3.3 or a 3.4 GPA, which is, kind of shit, but it's not that terrible. So I was actually trying at this point. So I wasn't doing too many drugs at the time, but I was smoking a shitload of weed. Freshman year of college is also when I met one of my best friends who I'm still friends with today, named Terrence. Now, Terrence is an interesting guy because he does music just like me. He's a music producer, and now he's doing pretty well for himself. He's been working with some bigger artists. He stays down in Atlanta. I'm not going to say the area, obviously, but I got a few more stories with him coming up of us actually hanging out in Atlanta. But that's not what this story is about today. So without further ado, like I always say, let's set the fucking stage, baby. See, I was trying in school for most of my classes, but there was one class in the morning that we did not have to attend in person, and I actually was in the same class with Terrence at this point. And the crazy thing is about Terrence is that he stayed in the exact same apartment complex that I was staying at. So every morning when this class time rolled around, I would drive over to Terrence's apartment. It was like a 15-second drive. It was straight down the road, but fuck walking that shit. So I would drive over there every morning, park outside, walk inside his crib, say what's up to his dickhead fucking roommate if he was over there. That guy was such a dick. I'll go more into that later. But I'd try to be nice and I'd try to say hi even though that guy was a fucking piece of shit. Walk up the stairs because Terrence's room was upstairs and we'd hang out. All we did every single morning is turn on this bullshit Zoom class, mute that motherfucker, and then hop on his fucking Xbox, get high as shit, and dick around. We literally did not do shit. But this was at the beginning when Terrence was not bringing weed up from Atlanta. See, we were in an area of Tennessee that was known for having shit fucking weed and shit fucking drugs. So anything we did, we had to be super careful it wasn't some laced fucking bullshit, even though that rarely happens, but if you knew the area, you'd understand why. And we also had to make sure it was quality shit, because we had smoked, I don't know, maybe about a zip in total, like over the fucking days, and it was all fucking bullshit weed. It was like, it's like us grabbing an eighth from one person, grabbing a couple grams from another person, just trying out new shit. And if I didn't bring it up from where I lived, or if Terrence didn't bring it up from where he lived, it was some dog shit fucking weed. And today was one of those days where we had to settle with a local plug. So me and Terrence put our money together and we had about $30, which should have been enough to get an eighth from any of these dog shit fucking plugs. We were looking to get a little bit high, man. We were gonna smoke the whole thing out of his little bubbler, try to get as high as possible, even though it probably wasn't gonna be the best experience, but we didn't have shit to do anyway. Like, fuck school, fuck class. It's not like we're listening to that shit. So yeah, that's what we decided to do. Here's where the problem became evident though. We did not want to go back to any of the plugs that we had already used because we knew their weed wasn't that good. So Terrence hits up his friend Alex, and I kind of like this guy. There are some stories of us hanging out together too. He was okay, but he was really fucking annoying when he started talking about his rap career and how he was going to blow up. And if you saw this kid, you'd be like, oh, fuck no, this kid, hell no, man. But he was the only chance we had to get some gas, and sometimes he actually did smoke okay shit. So Terrence asks him, hey, do you got a plug or do you got any gas? Want to come match with us or some shit? Smoke, the whole fucking deal. Alex responds with, I can't smoke right now, but I got a guy who's got some of the best weed in town. You wouldn't believe it. It's some short Asian kid, but he's serving fucking pack. Now, let me say this. When he said this, I was a little bit skeptical, and I'm not trying to be racist. I'm not trying to be offensive. I have never had an Asian plug in my fucking life. Maybe it's because I'm living in the South and, there aren't that many Asians where I live, but I've never had one before in my life, and I was like, okay, this is either going to be really legit, like some fucking smart kid shit, stereotyping the guy, or this is about to be complete fucking boof. But this kid was our only hope, so we decided to add him on Snap, hit him up, and see what he had. Terrence adds the guy, asks him if he can get an eighth for 30, and the guy says, no, I got you even better. I'll give you 4.5 grams of this shit. And I was like, okay. At this point, if we're getting 4 for 30, it's like, bro, it's going to be fucking bad. But we wanted to smoke some shit, so we said fuck it. We hopped in the car, drove over there, made the transaction, and got back to Terrence's crib. The only weird thing about the serve is that this kid lived in student housing, and you might think I'm snitching or whatever, but I'm sure this kid is long gone, probably graduated, don't even know if he went to the same school. He might have been at his buddy's house, but I thought it was weird we were going to student housing to pick up the fucking sack, dude. It was just strange to me. I don't know, a little bit weird. And come to find out, I know the reason why now. But anyways, we get back to Terrence's crib, go upstairs, turn on the Xbox, start running a game of FIFA, and during each goal or every like 5 minutes, we'd stop and take a rip out of his little bubbler. Now, this bubbler was fucking amazing. Let me tell you, when we actually started bringing good weed back to Tennessee to smoke, it was so fucking good. This shit got you so goddamn high. I don't know what it was. It was probably because it was small and the smoke was so condensed, but we got fucking faded off that shit so many times until it broke, man. It was a sad day. Rest in peace, Terrence's bubbler. So we start smoking and we're playing our game of FIFA, and then all of a sudden Terrence gets up and said, yo man, I feel a little dizzy. Let me sit down at my desk real quick, try to calm down, maybe order some food, because I'm not feeling too well. And I'm wondering, what are you talking about? Maybe he's just too high or some shit. Maybe it is some really good weed. But about 2 minutes later, I start feeling the exact same way that Terrence just described before. I don't know what it was, but my head was like spinning a little bit. I was dizzy and I was confused because I hadn't felt this way since back in high school when I smoked. And keep in mind, my tolerance was very high at this point, but I just kept feeling weirder and weirder and weirder. It wasn't like any weed high I've ever had before, except one time, which I'll go into in a second. So me being the smart detective that I am, I tell Terrence, look, let's just smoke as much of this shit as we possibly can. And if it turns out it's not real weed or it's some bullshit, that's the best way to find out. This was one of the dumbest fucking decisions or dumbest fucking things I've ever said. But Terrence was a fucking retard like me, so he agreed to do it. Oh my God. About 10 minutes later, both of our heads were fucking spinning. We were geeked out of our minds on something, but we knew it wasn't fucking real weed, bro. So I tell Terrence, look, text Alex and ask him what that guy served us. Don't be fucking mad. Don't act all angry or anything, because I wanted to know exactly what we just consumed. Alex's ass, dude, this kid is so fucking annoying. I got one story of where this, I'll get into it in a second, but Alex responds and says, you guys must be pussies or some shit, because this is some of the best pack I've ever had, and I'm smoking it right now. I look at Terrence, and keep in mind, me and Terrence were blowing down every fucking day. I mean, straight up hotbox in his room. That's why his roommate was such a bitch, because he'd get mad we'd hotbox that, which is fair for someone who doesn't smoke. They don't want the house to be smelling like weed. I get it, but we did this every day regardless. We were like, fuck him, let's do it anyway. So our tolerances were pretty high, and we had just recently ran out of the good weed that we had. That's why we were going to all these different plugs. So me and Terrence looked at each other and were like, fuck no, this is not real fucking weed. So Terrence responds to Alex and he says, are you sure, man? Because this shit seems a little bit fake and it doesn't feel like weed at all. And Alex keeps his fucking story and he's like, you guys are fucking pussies. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. So me and Terrence trusted Alex because he was a decent friend at this point. Terrence knew him a lot better than I did, but I kind of liked him before all this shit started happening where he'd just blatantly lie about shit. So me and Terrence decided to trust him on his word. Now, maybe 20 minutes goes by and we're thinking, maybe we are being pussies. Maybe we're just having an anxiety attack or some dumb shit because of the weed, which has never happened to either of us before. And I can't tell you how high Terrence was, but oh my goodness, I was fucked up, and I don't get fucked up off of weed, and I was genuinely fucked up. About 5 minutes goes by, and I don't remember who said it. It was me or Terrence, but one of us, I think it was Terrence, because after he said this, it just unlocked a whole other memory that I hadn't thought about in years. Terrence says, after about 5 minutes more playing the game, yo man, I think we just smoked K2, and it all came back to me. Back in high school, I had a buddy who was selling weed, and it was one of my first few times smoking, and we all smoked together. And I had this exact same feeling of being high like this that I had never gotten from any other weed. And we found out in about a week or two that he was serving spice. So I knew exactly what this was as soon as Terrence said it. And I look at him and I go, Bro, I haven't thought about this in years, and I explained to him the memory, and I say, you're exactly fucking right, man. I said, text Alex right now and ask him if this shit is fucking K2. Now, for those of you who don't know, K2 or spice, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is a synthetic weed they used to sell in gas stations so people could smoke it, get high, and pass drug tests without having THC in their system. Like, it's sprayed weed. I don't know how to explain it. This shit, if you smoke enough of it, and I know this to be true because he wasn't a friend, but an acquaintance of mine went fucking crazy from long-term smoking this shit. If you smoke this shit long-term, it will fuck you up indefinitely for at least a little bit. I think that kid is still fucking recovering. And Alex, after Terrence texts him, tells us, no, this is real fucking weed. You guys are tripping. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And me and Terrence were like, okay, he's fucking bullshitting. We know this shit is spice, regardless of whether he admits it. So we're pissed off, but we're like, whatever, just throw that shit fucking away. We're not going to touch it anymore. Now, a few weeks later, Terrence tells me that the Asian kid who was serving this shit ended up getting robbed. And it was confirmed. I think Alex even admitted this when we were all hanging out one day. He admitted that it was fucking K2 that he was selling. And Alex, I think, knew this the entire time and tried to bullshit us. This is how fucking annoying this kid was. We forgave him and everything, but there was still so much bullshit and lies to come. I got a couple stories that I'll be telling later. But yeah, man, that's how I accidentally smoked K2. I know it wasn't my first experience with the substance or whatever the fuck you want to call it, but it was definitely my last, and I hope I never see this shit again in my life. Guys, it will get you high as fuck, but it is not good for you, and it makes you feel fucking horrible if you're not used to the feeling. So please, everyone out there, don't smoke spice, get some real fucking weed, and have a good time. But anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for the video today. I hope you all enjoyed. I saw we got a few new subs, a few new comments. I really appreciate the love on the recent videos. I'm gonna try to upload a little bit more consistently and a little bit more frequently, but if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, all that bullshit. If you have any new game suggestions, let me know in the comments down below. Love playing new games, and I will see y'all in the next one. Have a great rest of your week.